Hello, British literature students. It is the first week after spring break. I hope you had a relaxing spring break last week. I hope some of you had fun and that you're ready to come back and do some work this semester. Now, before I go any further, I need to say this. Some of you, today is Monday, March the 13th. Some of you need to think seriously about dropping this class. Some of you have not done a single discussion posting this entire semester. And honestly, you're not going to be able to pass this class without doing discussion postings. On top of that, some of you not signed in hardly. So some of you that need this message aren't even going to watch this video anyway. There are several students also that have only done like 2 postings or 3 postings this entire semester. You cannot expect to do well in this class. I'm not asking you to do much, folks. I'm asking you to read the assignments and post 1 or 2 postings, depending upon whether I can make all the readings coalesce into one posting, or in some cases I have to do separate ones. It's not that hard, and yet several students have not even done one. So, it hurts me to have to say this, but some of you are destined to fail, because I am not going to give a passing grade to any postings that are now overdue. Okay, you've had 8 weeks, so every posting that you've not done from posting week number 2 up to week number 8, if you've not turned one in yet, it is a fail. End of story. No discussion about it. Now, you need to get on the rest of these postings. I cannot stress this enough. If you didn't want to do the work, you shouldn't have signed up for the class in the first place. Now, this week you've got 2 more sections to read here. One on the woman question and one on British imperialism, particularly in India. On the British imperialism one, you're getting 2 authors that have 2 different points of view. One of them is Thomas Babington Macaulay, and the other one is William Howard Russell, on different viewpoints on the people of India. Macaulay is giving some kind of an argument you've probably heard before, which is these Indian kids need to learn English. Does that sound familiar to Americans these days? And English is a superior language to anything out of India. English culture is superior, on and on. So he goes on with this argument as a way to say that English should be the national language of India. He also goes on to say that not all Indians are smart enough to learn English, so you basically take the smartest ones, teach them English, and then they'll take care of teaching the dumber ones. Very, very racist argument there. Then you've got Russell, who is talking about something called the massacre at Kanpur, and the massacre at Kanpur is basically a bunch of native Indians slaughtered a lot of English, well-to-do, very wealthy English men, women, and children. They took no prisoners. They just killed everyone. And Russell puts forth the argument because, Britain was outraged, as you can imagine. Imagine a bunch of American citizens living in a country and the natives of that country slaughtering all the men, women, and children. How would we feel, right? So it's not unreasonable to think that British people would get angry about that. However, Russell says, well, now wait a minute. Look at how we've been treating these folks. Look at how the British white folks have all the money and they have all the power and they get all the nicest homes and they throw these galas and all this stuff, while they have racist attitudes towards the native Indians and actually treat them poorly, and these native Indians have nothing. And yet, these settlers have it all. So he's not saying that what the Indians did was right, but what he is saying is, well, let's take a look at it from their point of view. How would you feel if a group of people came into your country and basically set up these mansions and threw these lavish parties without actually inviting you to take part, or without actually allowing you to benefit from what they're benefiting from? So that's the readings on India. And then the woman question. I'm asking you in the postings to take one of 2 sides. Either take a look at the men's point of view towards women and their attitudes towards women, and how they differ in the John Ruskin reading and the Walter Besant reading. Ruskin wrote his of Queens, no, not Queens, yeah, of Queens Gardens. He wrote his in the middle of the 19th century, whereas Besant wrote his at the end of the 19th century, and he looks at the way that the position of women has changed throughout the reign of Queen Victoria. So that is, well, what you look at there is either the men's attitudes or the women's attitudes. And you can glean that a little bit from both readings as well. How did women feel about themselves in the mid 1800s? How do women feel about themselves in the late 1800s? So you can look at either one of those two and do that posting. But you've got to do the postings. I cannot stress it enough. It's time to either fish or cut bait. And so you've got decisions to make. Most of you have decisions to make. So with that, on that note, I'm going to call it a day. Please start doing your postings. Please start turning them in. And please start at least trying to pass this class. If you are trying to pass this class, if you've been doing postings every week and you've been keeping up, I apologize that you had to sit through that rant, but your classmates are not exactly fulfilling their end of the bargain. And unfortunately, there are far more classmates not fulfilling their end of the bargain than there are classmates that are doing the work. So that's it. I'm out, and if you have any questions, email me or call me or whatever it is you have to do to reach me.